What do you mean? Who's free and easy?
You.
Am I? Oh, my wife's
I
outside.
reckon.
Don't say it too loud. We've been
I say,
recording. We've been recording for the last few seconds. So carry on talking while I make the introductions. So hello everyone, and welcome to Hotspur Way Season 1, Episode 15. It is Episode 15, right, Ross? I always come to you because I never know what episode we're on.
Yeah, we are.
We are. Wow, we've done 15 of these things, and people still listen. Why?
Say that again.
It's a rhetorical question. Shut up. Okay. So with us, obviously, Perchy from his kitchen. We've got Ross, who's got a banging mic, and let's welcome on one of our new squad members, John. Now, before we ask John who he is, for those of you who recall the Lemon Party episode, it got our most ratings, by the way. It got our most, Perchy would say viewings because it's clearly a podcast. So, and that question came in from John. So, John, who are you, and what the devil are you doing on this podcast?
Well, if your highest rated podcast so far was about a lemon party, that might be saying something about the people listening.
That's who we want, though. So I'll tell you what. I'm gonna tell you what John asked. He's so polite, and hopefully he won't be too polite. Well, with lemon party questions, I don't think he will be. So he said, any golden rules I need to know about swearing, off-limit topics, etc. Clearly, John has never listened to an episode. He just sent in a question. So, yeah, you can swear, you can do whatever you want. As I said, this is a Spurs adult podcast for adults. And so, go on, tell us who you are, mate.
So I'm a fat American who became enamored with Spurs around a decade ago, and I've liked watching them, listening to them, talking about them, etc. I don't have any experience in the world of what we call soccer, but I enjoyed it, and now I'm learning more about it. My kids are in it, and I that's where I'm at.
All right, so there is one golden rule: you're not allowed to call it soccer. There you go.
Yeah,
it is
okay.
football. Because the thing that you lot play over there, they rarely. I think they use their feet like 4% of the game, so. We'll call that one handball.
I totally agree.
Right, perfect.
Totally agree. The logic is there.
Throw egg.
The logic is there. We can
throw egg.
How about I just call it footy?
That's rugby.
For me.
Footy's
No.
good.
Footy. Oh my God, John from North London is from Barnet. So we are officially we're claiming that you're from Barnet. If you don't know where Barnet is, we're not talking about someone's hairdo. So John, something which I'm always interested in learning is why Spurs? Why our fantastic club? What happened?
Well, so here's I'll tell you the full story. The full story was I moved to a country. I moved away from where my hometown was. I had a new baby, and in the interest of
they are
keeping the
normally
baby
new.
entertained.
They are normally new, unless you've discovered something else that we don't know about.
And what I did is I basically just wanted to keep entertained on a Saturday when the missus was working, and but not be totally out of key when the baby started crying. So I started watching football. I started watching football, and a team called Tottenham came on, and I was really entertained with who they were. Back then, about a decade ago, it was Poch, and it was Eriksson and Toby and all the good guys in the back, and I just loved watching it. So I kind of became a fan and started watching them more specifically. And before I knew it, I was a diehard Spurs fan, and I have all the traits. So I'm a little self-loathing. I expect the worst things to happen. I'm prepared for nothing but disappointment. So I think I'm life hard. I'm there.
You're a proper yid.
That's right.
And so who do you hate more, Arsenal or Chelsea?
Arsenal.
Oh, thank God for that. And so, do you know the history between Tottenham and Arsenal? Are you like fully caught up with why we don't like them and why their fans are pathetic arseholes?
Well, I'm probably not totally caught up. I know that they moved to London from another area. I can't remember it off the top of my head, but they moved there, and then they tried to claim London as their own. But we've been the original London team, Other than that, I don't know exactly why they're hated, but I hate them just as much as you.
So I'll tell you a brief story, guys. Correct me if I'm wrong. So I don't actually know when the year was, but they were in the second division, and they were promoted. There you go. That's that mic again dancing. I think it's Ross. So they were promoted in place of Spurs. So Tottenham got relegated, so Arsenal could get promoted. It was Herbert Chapman at the time, their chairman, who did it because he was, if I'm not mistaken, part of the FA or something like that. And there was a conspiracy basically to have them promoted. And the worst thing about all of this, the reason why they're called the Gunners is because their stadium in South London, in Woolwich, they were called the Woolwich Wanderers. It was used for, I believe, World War One ammunition. So that's where the government would store their weapons. And so when that was happening, they had nowhere to play. So we opened our hearts up to them, a small poxy South London team. And we said, you can play at our ground on the proviso that once the war's over, because most of the affluent areas even today are in North London. Like, for instance, if I go to South London, even if I cross any bridge, when I come back I've got an illness. I don't know what it is. Their roads are weird. They've got pavements which are larger than most houses. I don't get South London at all. Sorry to anyone from South London who's listening, but you have had the opportunity to move to North London for years and you haven't, so that's your problem. So they then moved up into North London, and back in those days, you had people who weren't as dedicated as we are and as crazy as we are. So they would go and watch Arsenal one week and then Tottenham the other week. And they basically were the first team which were, sports washing. And they basically bought the league. Not only did they get promoted in place of us, so we got relegated for them, but then they started doing all these underhand tactics. And if you watch Arsenal Fan TV or AFTV as it's called, or if you just read any Arsenal fan tweets, you'll see that the majority of them have that strand of DNA which is inherent in them, where they are dirty little plebs. And I don't get it. Like, for instance, if you're in a room full of people and you don't know which one the Spurs fan is, just walk up to a group, and if they're talking about football, you can normally tell which ones are the Arsenal fans. And I don't know why they're like this. It's something to do with their horrible little swamp of a club. So there you go. I think you're updated now. So you probably hate Arsenal even more.
Yeah. I think I'm on board. I'm on board.
Awesome. Well, you have been for about a decade, so that's great. Perch, how are you, mate? What have you been doing? I want to hear a dirty little rumor from you that you've done this week.
Rumor? I mean,
a dirty little thing that you've done this week.
I'll be honest, I've been quite boring this week. I've been working.
Wanking. What else? Come on, you've got to...
Unbelievable. No, not much really. I mean, can't wait for the international break to be over. It is horrendously dull and boring. You know my feelings about international football. It's crap. Yeah, I want Monday to come around the corner. It's a bit dull without Tottenham at the moment.
Guys, have you noticed every now and then it sounds like he's near his microphone? I don't know what he does, but every now and then it's like we can hear him properly. So try and capture that moment, mate, where we can hear you properly, and then freeze right there.
Right. Okay.
There you go. Now we can hear you properly.
So you couldn't hear me before?
Well, we can hear you, but it does sound like you're in your kitchen.
I mean, I'm in my flat, which is an open spaced one. So the kitchen is part of the dining room, which is part of my office, which is then part of my living room. So technically, in theory, I am.
See, we can hear you now. I don't know.
Yeah, I've moved my keyboard out of the way and put my mic nearer my mouth. Is that better?
That's much better. I mean, this is a podcast. We can't actually see you. I know you're still not understanding how it works, but yeah, if you can just like set up, your mic and everything before we start recording, that'd be a lot better for everyone.
Yeah, it's not as fun. Otherwise, then you don't get to use to burn 5 minutes about moaning about my voice. It's all good.
True. Ross, other than an MOT and ordering a kebab, what have you done this week?
My son's team won at the weekend, which is always good because it puts him in a good mood. 10-year-olds take that very seriously. Apart from that, not much. The weather's been a bit over here, as we are quite a cosmopolitan podcast. We're stretching to America now.
I know, 4 different... How many continents are we on?
3.
Well,
3.
Cyprus is in the EU, but technically it's Asia. Like, and when I'm in Lebanon,
That's what I thought.
It is Asia. No, geographically, Cyprus is not in Europe. I can absolutely 46 degrees heat every single day during the summer. I guarantee that's not Europe. Not geographically.
I get that in southern Spain.
Well,
If you go to
Spain,
Sevilla.
well, I mean, it's more country, isn't it? So it's not really Europe either. Have I just
Gran
pissed off?
You
Canaria.
get it once a year in the UK.
What about Gran Canaria?
That's not geographically Europe, is it? That's Africa.
It's literally a part of Spain.
I don't care if it's so what. The British Virgin Islands are part of Britain. They're not. It's in the Caribbean. They are in the Caribbean, right? I don't know. So, John, what's the weather like in Detroit at the moment?
It's about 50 degrees Fahrenheit and cloudy.
So what's that in English weather?
English weather,
Yeah,
brilliant.
50
You mean
degrees.
Celsius?
Oh,
Come on, guys, shut up. I don't know what 50 degrees is. I mean, I can Google it, but everyone complains that I'm
I'll
hitting my
tell you in
keyboard.
a second. It's 12 degrees Celsius.
Oh, that's freezing.
Oh, forget that.
Yeah, I think
That's
Cyprus.
like-
I think Cyprus hits 12 degrees maybe for 7 minutes a year.
Yeah,
That's about it.
This is just fall weather. We're not even at our coldest point yet. It'll be 0 or below Celsius shortly.
Wow, and you're shoveling snow every morning, right? Just get to work.
That's about it.
Oh, I've got to come to Detroit though. I'd love to see Detroit.
Would you?
Yeah, and because I know that there are quite a few Spurs fans there. The reason I know that is because I've got friends who have been to Detroit and watched games at, I don't know the pub. Which pub do you go to?
Dog and Pony.
I can't remember if it was that one, but
The Dog and Pony. I love the name.
what a
of
great
that.
name for a pub.
it
That's
is
a
right.
great. Like, it's normally like the Dog and Bone or something like that. But the Dog and Pony, that's quality.
Watching Spurs at the Dog and Pony. And what
I'll
time?
rate that.
You're 5 hours behind the UK, so early morning kickoffs aren't great for you, I take it.
Yeah. 7:30. That's not bad.
And how-
Set the alarm on Saturday.
And how many are there watching the games normally at the Dog and Pony?
For bigger matches, we'll probably have 50 people, 50, 60 people.
It's not bad. That's
Good numbers, to be
Yeah,
fair.
that's better than Cyprus. In Barca Spurs, how many do you lot have over there? So I know you go to different pubs, right?
There's a group of about 40 of us, but we don't all go down to the pub and watch it. So we're a bit sparse when we do go, but we have got a good group.
All right, cool. So I'll tell you what, let's talk about the international break because I've been listening to a lot of people whine about it, and I 100% agree with them as to why they're whining. And I tell you what, I think I've hit the nail on the head with this one. You know how we crave Ange ball? By the way, I hate that term, but we really look forward to Spurs playing right now.
Yeah.
As opposed to last year, right? We didn't really care too much about it. Can you imagine if England played like Tottenham? I think that we would have a much bigger affinity. Well, John, you wouldn't, but we'll say that you're English for the time being, or even America, or even watching your national team. If you had a coach in America, I don't even know who your coach is, by the way. Do you know?
I don't off the top of my head.
Okay, that's how interesting international football is. That we actually we have an American on who doesn't know who his coach is. Unfortunately, we do know who our coach is, and he's as boring as fuck. Honestly, he hasn't got any charisma at all. He goes against everything he's ever said he would do. He seems to have been too long in the job, and I think that the FA need to do what Tottenham have done. So and we'll get onto Qatar in a minute.
What, sell Kane?
No. What they need to do is Daniel Levy needs to go and run the FA, and he can find someone like Ange for them. I don't know who that would be, by the way, but
God, don't try that.
apparently England are playing tonight, right? They're playing
Yeah, we got the Italians tonight.
Italians.
If we win, we qualify for the Euros.
Where are the Euros?
The Euros are in
Germania.
Oh, really?
Germania.
They're in Germany.
Germania.
Tickets, by the way, just on the topic of that, the tickets for the Euros games are relatively well priced. I was having a look at it the other day, and you can go onto it and get them for about €30.
It's about 27 quid, isn't it?
That's because no one wants to go. It's supply and demand. I mean, that's the reason.
Well, no, it's not. It's because the reason why they're that price at the moment is because obviously there's no groups. You can just pick B3 versus B4 kind of thing. Like
Oh,
they're,
you
they're
mean
just,
for the actual Euro tournament? I
yeah,
thought you meant
yeah,
for,
for
the
the Euros. You can
qualifiers.
go, I had a
Oh,
look, and you
right.
can go and buy tickets now. They've got them in sections, so like you can get like grade A, which are like €300, or they call it fans first, which is like €30. So I don't know. I'm assuming that's in the gods, but it's not too bad really. Like you can, and they obviously tell you what games being played where, like in each group. Obviously, there's no groups yet, so like not many people are buying them yet. But you could, if you wanted
Did you
to
buy
go,
any?
just go. I didn't know. I'm debating if I want to go or not.
Just in case you get a really shit group.
Yeah, knowing my luck, it'll end up being like Greece versus Romania or
Oi,
something like that.
oi, come on. There's nothing wrong with
Oh,
Greece.
that's Ange Town. That's Ange
That's
Town.
my town
just
as
think-
well. Well,
Yeah.
half of me anyway. Half my DNA is from that.
But yeah,
that
I
old,
couldn't really. I
province.
couldn't say Cyprus anyway. They ain't qualified, have they? So
No, well, I don't really care about. I mean, I just
Scotland
I just live
have.
there. Yeah, they have. Well done to Scotland.
Scotland are massive, not.
So listen, we've been going for nearly 16 minutes and we haven't really spoken about Spurs. So a few podcasts ago, I spoke about Qatar possibly buying Spurs. I've done it on Spooky's pod as well. And the good news is that because we have clients who are based in Qatar, and one of them, I'm not going to mention names, but one of them is to do with a ministry in Qatar. I have some gossip. So I did tell you all that Sheikh Jassim, to say his proper name, wouldn't be buying Manchester United. This was over a month and a half ago, I think I said it. So that's me on ITK. I'm the fucking god. That's the only ITK you'll ever get from me. But there is one bit more. Qatar have always been interested in buying Spurs. They have always wanted a club in London, but they want 100% ownership of that club. And talks happened about 3 weeks ago. Daniel Levy is not budging. Daniel Levy will not sell his 29.6 or 7% stake in the club. And so Qatar right now, until Daniel Levy leaves, will not be interested in owning a minority, or even if they buy the Tavistock group, which owns ENIC, even if they buy their shares, it's not something they're interested in right now. That comes straight from the horse's mouth. And so that's where we stand with it. So I'll tell you what, because we know Perchy where you stand, and Ross, we'll get round to you as well. John, if you had an owner of Tottenham Hotspur that had unlimited wealth and also could hit their keyboard, whoever's doing that right now, like, would you want that? Where do you stand on Qatari ownership?
I think it's like anything. It comes with it comes with a certain set of conditions and kind of a double-edged sword. You know, you could have owners that have extremely deep pockets that could, you know, maybe potentially buy a cup or two, or, you know, as in City's case, they could be at the top for quite a while. I don't know if deep down I would want a club like that, because it becomes a bit of a paper tiger. You have fans that don't know shit about them. You have people that buy the shirt just to own the shirt because it has international following, and it I don't know, it's a double-edged sword. You're gonna have to take the licks and the cash. So I guess it depends on what you really want out of the club. Do you want cups? Do you want titles? Or do you want a club?
I agree. So there's other things that I can tell you guys. If Qatar did end up buying, because it would be Qatar the state, not Sheikh Jassim. Okay, so just for those who weren't listening to one of the other pods where we mentioned this, was it 1.5 months or 2 months ago? I can't remember. What happened with Sheikh Jassim was Sheikh Jassim is the owner of QNB. QNB is on paper the largest bank in the world, Qatari National Bank, with regards to funds that they have. Okay, but that's easy to have based on Qatar's wealth. Okay, so it's not like they've done something miraculous in the banking world and they have grown to this size. And so what happened there was that QSI weren't going to back. There were people in QSI who were going to back Jassim's bid, but the Emir wasn't going to back it. So the Emir is, let's say, the king of Qatar. And so Qatar as a country is happy that he never went ahead and bought Manchester United. Obviously, if he had done, what would have happened is they would have backed him 100%. Okay, they would have backed him. But Manchester United wasn't part of their plans. A club in London, however, is, and they've bought a lot of real estate over the last few years in London, and adding Tottenham Hotspur to their profile would have been something that they would have enjoyed and would have loved. What it would also mean is that White Hart Lane, which I still call it, I will not call it Tottenham Hotspur Stadium because it clearly is a Tottenham Hotspur, which is owned by a stadium which is owned by Tottenham Hotspur. They would call it Qatar Airways, or they would look to call it one of the other state-owned companies which they have, so such as Qatar National Gas, or there's a multitude of them. We would be sponsored, and you would see many sponsorships from Qatar, and they would be huge. So, for instance, Qatar Airways, if they did end up sponsoring the stadium, it would be a 25-year deal with shirt sponsor of Qatar Airways. The good news is that it's purple instead of it being red, so that's what we would have. They would never look to change anything within the club, nothing at all with regards to changing stadium colours or anything like that. They're not interested in that. What they're interested in is raising Qatar's profile. Okay, and there's nothing wrong with a country wanting to raise their profile. I think, and I've got to be careful what I say here, but some of the things which could be wrong and deemed wrong is that they're even though they have made improvements with regards to human rights, especially in the labour force, it's not happening as fast as they would like. There is a government initiative right now where they are setting up an entire ecosystem to make things better, but it's not moving as fast as certain people in the government would like. And the reason behind that is because the way that Qatar is run, there are a lot of cooks in the kitchen. Okay, and we find this when trying to do work with any government groups. It's you have to get 1 million different approvals for the smallest things, and you're held up in bureaucracy, right? So this is one of the reasons. The other thing with regards to LGBTQ, that's not going to change anytime soon, nor is it in Saudi Arabia. And I'll give you a quick history lesson, guys. Why is that not going to change? Because these two countries, especially Saudi Arabia, I would say more than half of their population are very strong Sunni Muslims. They're strong in regards to their faith, and they don't accept a lot of things. And so right now, as they're trying to phase that out, but it takes years and years and years to do that, right? So it's a lot of education, whatever. What you can't do is a binary movement. You can't say from one day to the next, we're now going to allow this. I mean, just allowing women to drive was such a huge thing there. And so these are the things that are problematic for ownership of, let's say, a Middle Eastern club. So knowing those things, Ross, where do you stand with it? Oh, before
I don't want to go to the. I don't want to go
Qatar
Airways.
But before
stadium.
Well, first of all, Qatar Airways have a fantastic hairline. I've got to tell you that, and
I'm not denying that, but I don't want to go to the stadium. Are you going down the Qatar? Yeah, I'm going down the Qatar.
I'm going down the, but I don't think we would do that. We don't own a swamp like Arsenal do, where it never had a name. You know, we built our stadium on White Hart Lane.
Yeah.
At least half of it, so it always will be White Hart Lane. I don't care what anyone says. You know, that is what it is. Let me just tell you one more thing. If Qatar were successful in owning 100% ownership in the club, that also means removing the 30,000 plus shareholders that are there, because they will want full control over the club. Okay, because that's how they like to do things. The board would have three Qatari nationals. Okay, and then you would have some other board members, right? They would spend a lot of money at Spurs to raise the profile of the club. Okay, they would. Does that mean that we would be instant winners? Just take a look at PSG. Yes, they win their Farmers League every year, but what else do they do? You know, so there is a lot of bling when it comes to Qatar and the Middle East. And unfortunately, throwing money at certain situations doesn't always guarantee success. It did when Abramovich did it, because back then it was new, but now it's not the same. They would also have huge academies, Spurs academies in Qatar. What else do I know? There would be Spurs TV in Qatar. That's another thing that they would be thinking about. So Spurs play would be broadcast there as well. beIN would be heavily on our side. So beIN is like Sky out there. Okay. beIN are the biggest contributors to the Premier League TV rights, just so you know. And
so does that mean Richard Keys would have to be nice to us?
Yeah, he would. They although to be fair to them, they say how they see it. You know, I'll be honest with that. Apart from when the World Cup was on, and then it was a lot of like, you know, love in Qatar and all of that. If they are told to do a certain thing, they love their lifestyle out there. They are living the life. I can tell you this for nothing. They are loving their life out in Qatar, and they don't want anything to jeopardize that. You know, so yeah, if they were told, listen, you can't, you know, you have to try and be a bit more pro Spurs, then they would have to toe the line. Again, would I like that? I don't know, Ross, what about you? Would you like that? After everything I've just said, I've given you the whole package of things that we've heard. What do you think, mate?
Honestly, no.
Why?
I've grown up with Spurs for over 30 years, and we've gone through so much. The fact that we're a very organic club and we've built it from not nothing, for God's sake. God, we're a London club, for goodness sake. But the way that we've gone about it, it relates more than just someone, a state or whatever, coming in, throwing a few billion at it, and then we are competing and all that, which sounds great, I know, but it's all very, I don't know, it's all very manufactured. And I don't know, it just doesn't hold much water with me. But maybe I'm just a grumpy old man, I don't know. But it just doesn't tickle my fancy, because I just love the way that we have come from a 35,000 seater stadium, built this £1 billion mega stadium that can do all sorts, and it's been done organically with a big ass loan from the bank. And it just doesn't feel, it doesn't sit right with me. But I'm probably more of a traditionalist. We take the mick out of Chelsea and Man City for their fans, and even Newcastle, because they just get a load of they're plastic clubs now. They're clubs built on little history, apart from maybe Newcastle have a bit more. But the other two, their only major successes come in the last 20 years. And, you know, we all have taken the mick out of them at some stage, and there is substance to it. Because they get fans from everywhere who only wouldn't even know who... they couldn't even name any player from the early 90s. And that doesn't make, you know, just because the dirt under your fingernails doesn't make you any more of a supporter than anyone else. But it just, it just doesn't hold much for me. It doesn't hold much sentiment for me. It just doesn't, meh.
Perchy, mate, what do you think?
I don't care who really owns Tottenham. I'll be honest, don't really care. I just want, if they come in and take over us, then I want the plan. That's for me the main thing. It's all about the plan. It doesn't really matter. Like, you want the club to be a well-oiled machine, and under this ownership, we should be a well-oiled machine, but we're not. We should be at that level where the whole thing, but everything changes every couple of years, and it's like, we've never actually, like, you use Man City as your example. That's a well-oiled machine. But it is now. It is now. Do you not remember?
Yeah, because in 2008, up until 2016, they weren't.
Yeah, but since Sheikh Mansour came in, they're a well-oiled machine.
No, they weren't. They weren't.
Yeah, they are.
No.
They are.
No. Now they are. He came in August. 1 minute. He came in August 2008. One minute. And in 2009 or 10, Peter Crouch scored in what we call the Champions League playoff.
Yeah.
And we got in the Champions League ahead of them because they had multiple chairmen who didn't know how to run that football club.
Yeah.
Their football club has gone 180 since Pep Guardiola. Well, actually, before then, since Pep's
was
mates
before
came
Guardiola.
in, it was it's when his mates came in. Chick Biggerista, I can't remember. I don't know.
Chicky
Him and
Beristain.
right, and what's the other guy called?
Oh, I've forgotten his
And
name,
there's
but I know
one
who you're
more,
talking
right?
about.
So they came in, and what they did is they got everything ready. They built the foundations, put the pillars up. They then got the walls ready. They plastered the whole house, and then Pep came in and bought the furniture. They got everything ready for him. Okay, and they had the funds to do
They
that.
were doing that before, though.
No, they weren't.
They were
Cool.
winning titles.
Yes, they were. But if Pep was there from 2008, they would have won a whole lot more.
Yeah,
We're talking
I get
8
that,
years,
but,
8
but,
years
yeah,
of spending so much money and not really doing too much. Of course,
yeah,
they
but
won
James, you got to
titles.
remember. I get what you're saying, and we're talking about it from the front end. I'm talking about from the back end here. Look at what they've done to their complex. That was one of the. They didn't do that under Guardiola. They did that. They did that years before. And their academy is now one of the best in the country. Like they bring through talent year after year after year. That isn't Guardiola. I mean, Guardiola's helped, but this is a systematic thing. And touch wood, Tottenham are doing it now, right? In the sense of the eyes of the academy players are playing the same way as the first team. The whole structure of everything that we're doing is what it is. But this should have been done years ago, and this is the problem we've had at Tottenham. And listen, as I said, whoever owns us, listen, I don't care if we've got Qatari owners. I couldn't care less. I want to see I want Tottenham at the top table every single year, challenging for every single trophy. Because as fans, we deserve that. We pay some of the highest ticket prices in world football, and we haven't been... Yes, the last few months have been lovely. Couldn't say the same for the last 4 years. The last 4 years was awful. And my point being is listen, like we talk about amazing stadium. Yeah, lovely stadium, great. I'm not one of these people. I couldn't care less what the stadium looks like, as long as if we're winning stuff. I'd happily have stayed at White Hart Lane with us winning trophies. Do you know what I mean? Like achieving stuff. Like that football's about winning. It's not about everything else, but it's all about the plan and the structure and how we get there. Listen, whoever takes over us, listen, that doesn't mean necessarily matter the name or if it's Yassine. I personally don't see it happening, but that's just my own opinion. But I'll be amazed if it does. But my point being is I think you're right. Why does Daniel Levy need to get rid of Tottenham? Let's be honest about it. Why? He's built a £1 million cash machine ATM at White Hart Lane, where every time it's used they print £1 million in it, and that's what they've done, right? Why would they get rid of that?
They wouldn't. But so first, just to, because I've been to Manchester City many times. My ex is their whole family are City fans, and I've been there many times. So they didn't finish their complex or didn't really start it properly until December 2014. And again, it was when the guys from Barcelona came in and really built up what we call the City Group as today. That's when it all happened. So it's a facade to think that Manchester City were great. Yes, they won a few titles and whatever, but we were still beating them at White Hart Lane, if you remember, right? So we will still do that.
I don't think we were when it were under other managers. It was more the Guardiola one when we started winning randomly against them.
Well, I remember that game where Lemez scored at the end, where it was like an open goal. But look, the point the point is, let me ask you this question: do you have any friends who are gay?
Huh? Yes, I do.
If they turned around and said to you, and you knew that they were massive Spurs fans, and they said, I can't go anymore. I can't go anymore because we're owned by people who won't let me be me in their country. What would you say to them?
No, I listen. I understand this topic. I get it. I understand that. But the theory behind that though is why do we care massively about who owns the football club? It feels like only at Tottenham that we care about it. Like I don't see.
Well, I don't know. There's a few thousand Manchester United fans who might disagree with you.
Yeah, but I didn't see any of them complaining about them. They're from what I've seen, collectively they're disappointed that they haven't got new owners. Is my point.
Yeah, but it's about ownership, right? So
I
I think we have to care
That's their owners that have massively mistreated a football club in the sense of their infrastructure, not the football inside it. It's ironic, isn't it? It's very much the other. It's the opposite end of Tottenham. Whereas I feel like the mismanagement in the recruitment at Tottenham's been bad, but the infrastructure at Tottenham has been brilliant. Whereas I think the opposite is for Man United. I think they've spent loads and loads of money on players, but the infrastructure at Man United is some of the worst in the country, in this top flight I'm talking about.
Right, so this doesn't become the Perchy and James show. Ross and John, feel free to come in, because I'll ask the same question to you. If you had friends who were gay and they said, I can't go anymore, I will support Spurs from afar, but I can't give any money to these people, what would you say? And by the way, they're not doing it. I have to really state this clearly. If Qatar, and I'm talking about the country, was to ever buy Tottenham Hotspur, it would not be to make money. They do not need money. They surpassed God's finances years ago. Okay? Yep. They don't need any money. It's not for that reason. Yes, it would mean probably lower ticket pricing, and it would mean a whole lot more with regards to them getting involved at Spurs. So Ross and John, if you had friends who said to you, I just can't go there anymore because of this regime, what would you say to them?
Go on, John.
Well, so I mean, I've got a couple of family members who are gay, and I would probably have a bit of a moral nightmare. You know, I would feel sad that they wouldn't want to go and wouldn't want to support the club, and I would, to be honest with you, I would probably start pulling back because I'm close enough to them that I could see their reasoning, and I could.
Have we just lost John?
That's right, I'll jump in. I think on my side, if my... Oh, is he back?
Apologies.
Go on, John. Go on. You finish your point, mate.
Yeah, I don't know where I left off, but in the country that I'm from, there's still a big issue with that, and there's still a lot of people who don't think that LGBTQ identified people in society should have the right to be exactly who they are. So I completely understand where people's moral dilemmas would outweigh who they follow, the team that they support. Even the companies they support, the teams they support, the people they support. So I would have issues with it.
Yeah, Ross, go ahead, and then I want to say something, which John just triggered something in me, which I want to say. But Ross, go ahead, mate.
Yeah, I would be upset if I don't have any gay Spurs friends, but if I did, and they turned around and said they wouldn't want to go anymore, I'd feel very sad. I probably wouldn't go myself. Not that I go much anyway, but for the purpose of the story, because you can't force your own beliefs onto other people, because it's just not how the world should work. And without getting too deep into it, because we're not that sort of podcast, bless us, but it's more, you can't tell people how they should live or anything like that. So if a Qatari ownership did come over and if they were very anti LGBTQ or whatever,
they wouldn't be, by the way. They wouldn't be at all. This is one of the questions that I asked. Like, let's just say it wasn't about Spurs. I asked this question in general. If they owned a team in the Premier League or Championship, would they insist on the LGBTQ plus flags coming down? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Because it's not Qatar here. It's Great Britain. They wouldn't. This I can tell you right now that they wouldn't. And this is my point, what I was about to make. So, and I've only really just thought about it just now when John was talking, that supporting a football club and being a fan of a football club, it's a really personal thing, but at the same time, it's not personal, if you know what I mean. because you're there as one with the rest of the fans, but it also is so personal to you, and it's such a difficult thing to try and answer. Really, I don't. I just think that it's one of those things where there is no right and wrong answer. Everyone does what they feel comfortable with. And no one should be in a position to then say to that person, "Well, I can't believe you're not a real fan." I'm doing this stupid accent. But you say you support Spurs and now you're not going because in their country they don't allow this. Fuck off. People can believe what they want. They can feel however they want. And so no one should be discriminated against if it does happen. But then again, how would the new owners see it? They would see it the same way Daniel Levy does. Someone else will take that seat. And unfortunately, that's such short-term vision from any owner, because a football club is made up of the supporters. And sometimes it takes years to truly support a club. Like John, I mean, you're new on Hotspur Way, and so when you got that hook, that thing that you just couldn't wait to see Spurs, how long did it take? Was it like instant? Did it develop over time? How did it grow with you?
I'd say it was probably over time. It's like being spoon-fed a delicious soup. You get a taste, and then you think about this and that aspect of it, and then you start listening to this podcast or reading that article about it, and it's like a Chinese water torture on your forehead to become a Spurs fan, right?
It's not that much fun. I kind of like in Spurs, I don't know, there was a guy on Twitter, Bankrupt Spurs, he described supporting Spurs as getting sucked off and being punched in the balls at the same time, which I think's just about right. You kind of take the pleasure and the pain at the same time. But that's Spurs for you.
But I think that's what being a fan is. You have to appreciate the rainy days to love the sunny days, right? If it was sunny all the time, we'd all be Man City fans and we'd be sucking each other off to the amount of cups they have. But that's not the point of being a fan. It's the point is the pageantry, the loving the ups, the loving them at the downs, the hating the downs, all that. It's everything in between.
Exactly, and that's so. When you talked about having this, like being spoon-fed this lovely meal, it must have been. I've just looked up the worst restaurants in Detroit over the Mourinho and Conte era. It must have been so. Nico's Pizza and Gyro is gyro, by the way. Then you've got Hungry House, Sugar Factory, LA Coney Island. So was it anything like that during? Oh, they are disgusting. Okay, so it was like that during those two managers' reigns, and a bit of McDonald's over Nuno Santos when he was there. But
absolutely. I mean, we're all here. It was boring. It was treacherous. Every week we didn't know what we were going to get. Inconsistent. From Conte's meltdown to Mourinho icing people out to I don't even know what you want to call Nuno if he was even a person, but it was treacherous.
Talking about Nuno, you know what I found really interesting? If I was at that fans forum, my only question that I would have thought of was, Daniel Levy, can you tell us why you hired him? And I'll lead the question for you. Was it because you needed a stopgap? I can't believe no one asked that question. Because it looked like you could ask really any question. I know that they were vetted.
Nah,
but
they
it
were
did...
100% vetted. They were,
one minute.
They were 100%
I know they were,
vetted.
but if you noticed, the guy who then got on he got on someone's goat, basically. You could clearly see that he had, vetted the question, but then changed it. And so I would have asked that question. I don't care if vetted or not. It's not, I don't care if I don't go to another one. Let's talk about former managers. I think we've done the Qatar thing to death. Let's see what happens. As I said, before we move on to the next bit, Qatar only interested in 100% full ownership, and that ain't happening anytime soon unless Daniel Levy changes his mind. So I'm going to read you some quotes. Those are the two clubs, that's Roma and Napoli, that I'd like to try for the passion fans have. I hope one day I'll have a chance to live this experience. And when he was asked about taking a job in the middle of a season, he smirks. I had that bit in. I don't think he did, but he may have done. And he says, those situations have been created before I arrive. Talking about Antonio Conte. He's the gift that doesn't give. I don't want to hear from this man ever again, because he's also gone on to talk quite extensively, because he's putting himself out there for a job, and he's talked about having the experience of being a winner and so on and so forth. He came to Tottenham and he had the chance to be a winner, and he took I'd say not the majority, but 50-60% of the current playing staff, and he made them a shadow of what they are. That was him. Wasn't anyone else. I think it was Levy saying to him, listen, you need to play this way. You could see that whenever they were coming out in the tunnel, they weren't happy. And I'll tell you what, having a happy workplace, you'll have such great productivity. And these guys didn't want to do the job that they had, and they ended up viewing it like a job, because being a footballer, you should never view it as a job. What do you guys think about this guy? Perchy, over to you,
It's a bit
mate.
bitter, isn't he?
I'll be honest, I can't stand Conte, like I can't stand his football. Listen, I don't really care what he says. He can say what he wants about us. It is what it is, right? Listen, it was never going to work. Listen, he's a good manager, but not...
Hold on. Is he a good manager in the same way you say Ten Hag is a good manager?
I didn't say Ten Hag was a good manager.
We've got the receipts.
I
Hold
said-
on. Ross, back me up here. We had a whole debate about this, and you said he is a good manager.
No, I said he no. Okay, actually,
Well, you did. Yeah, that's exactly what you said. But yeah.
I said he was a good manager, but he is. I'll be honest, he's absolutely failing right now. But listen, it is what it is. I said what I did say is he had a good season last season.
You also said he's a good manager. But we'll let that one go, yeah.
Yeah, no, it's going a bit wrong with him. But listen, with the Conte thing, let's be honest, it was never gonna work. I don't think that's not me being crazy. It was never gonna work, Conte in Tottenham.
You're
The
right.
way that
It wasn't.
the
And
way
Daniel
he-
Levy admitted that as well.
Yeah, but the reason why he got in Conte was because it was an easy way to appease the fans. But the problem, what we have now is, listen, he is right. I found his dig a bit petty on that forum thing. I was really like you're not winning us over. I don't care what anyone. Well, I mean, you may do with some. Like some people already do get won over way too easy with this man, but not for me. But listen, Conte's old news. Ange's the current news. Let's worry about what he thinks, what he says. That's where I draw the line now. I'm done. Listen, if Conte wants to go and take over at Roma or Napoli or I've heard Juve again, but go and do it. Listen, you'll be fine, but not for me. That's all.
So, John, I've got a question for you, mate. Being a fairly new supporter of Spurs, when you were having to watch what you saw last season, did it cross your mind like, I just can't be arsed with this? Or is it like, no, this is my club? I mean, how did you feel?
It was a this is my club. You know, like I said earlier, you going through shit makes you more appreciate walking through a golden field of flowers, right? You have to dredge through the bullshit in order to get where you want. So seeing and experiencing and watching Conte meltdown, and the players, like you said, they looked miserable. They looked like they weren't enjoying it. It wasn't good. You know, he took a Golden Boot winner and just completely mashed him into the ground. And you know, Son was a shadow of himself. I mean, the whole squad was. So, you know, I think it's awesome that where we're at now is probably even greater because of where we were a year ago.
Anyone?
Sorry, I've just muted myself. So, and more importantly, the question that you asked us, which was in a lemon party, who were the characters? It was Antonio Conte, Jose Mourinho, and who was the other one? Was it Daniel Levy or was it Poch?
Pochettino,
Was
wasn't
it
it?
Poch? See,
Poch.
it's on Perchy's mind. He can't forget this
Yeah.
stuff. I mean, it was great because
I'm
he
trying to get it out of my
googled. He didn't
mind.
know what it was. So funny. He didn't know what a lemon party was, and during the show he googled it. We told him not to Google it on his work laptop. I don't know if he did or not. He's still in a job, so he must have done it on his personal laptop. But he's been excited by it ever since, haven't you, Perch? But what drove you to ask that question? And who would you have in the various positions?
That's a tough one. Let's see. So I would probably put Poch running the camera. Conte is the power bottom because he's so angry, and Mourinho's so lackadaisical. He would just be behind Conte. Just taking it. I think
I can picture it right now.
I think that's the setup, right? There's no other setup.
Beautiful. I'll tell you what, we're going to package this clip and send it over to the Qatari National Tourist Board and see what they have to say about us fans. So let's move forward because we're not playing until next Monday. We're recording on Tuesday right now, so nearly a week away. 8 o'clock UK time, 9 o'clock Barca time, 10 o'clock Cyprus time, and Lebanon and Detroit time. What time is that? 2 o'clock? 3 o'clock.
2 or 3. I think 3.
Wow. Are you going to watch it? Are you going to be at work? And how does that work if you are in the office? And how do you get to watch the games?
Luckily, I'm on projects most of the day, just doing my own thing, so I can pull it up on a second monitor and just have it in the background, or pull it up on my phone and my headphones. So I'll be at least somewhat tuned in.
All right, awesome. Percy, you going to do a watch along on that game, or you just watch it and then you don't do? Where's Perchy gone?
Sorry about that. I was talking. For some reason, my mic was muted. No, I'll be doing a watch along. Yeah, there'll be a watch along definitely for the Fulham game.
Cool. And so let's talk about Fulham quickly because we've been going for 52 minutes now. Do you think, Ross, is over to you, mate? Because you've clearly spoken too much on this show. Do you think that it's going to be an easy game? Do you think it's going to be an edgy one? What do you think is going to happen in this game?
Depends what side we can get out, because Sonny was being kicked to hell and high water today, and Jurgen, the German, went, nah, let's keep him on. Sar's got ice in his ankle. Yeah, you just go into that panic mode every time. Maddison isn't starting for England, so that's something. But as long as we've got a decent
side... playing for Italy, though.
That's a good thing, though, isn't it? Is that his first? No, it's his second cap, isn't it?
Yeah, no, it's his first start.
I'll be honest.
It's his first start, but he played well last game.
With international games, I don't care for my players playing in them. I'll be honest.
You did when Harry Kane was there, and we were looking at,
when
praying to whoever for his biscuit ankles.
No. I used to say I didn't want Harry Kane playing when he was at Spurs. Now I couldn't care less. I hope he plays, and it's actually quite fun watching Harry Kane play and not worrying about his ankles going. It's quite. I don't really care.
I hope his ankles don't go, and that they finish where they are right now in the league, which is third. That'd be fantastic, and that we go on to win the effing league. So Ross, sorry, we rudely interrupted you.
All right. Next Monday. No, I think we'll win. I think we'll win quite easily. Fulham are a bit of a niggly club, aren't they? They've also got Vinicius up front, which could come back to bite us on the arse, which would be hilarious. But no, I think we'll win. I think it'll be a nice 2-0 win. It'd be nice to get nice to see Ange again, see the guys again. Hopefully we've got not Ben Johnson, that's a disgraced Canadian sprinter. Brennan Johnson back. And I think it'll be way too early for Bentancur, won't it? Obviously, we'll have to play Højbjerg because young Basuma's got himself suspended, the naughty boy. But that shouldn't cause us too many issues. I can see Decky. I don't want to go into it because it's horrible what happened last night. Obviously, he only would have played 45 minutes last night. Hopefully he's safe and sound. And so we'll have a lot of the team kind of refreshed and raring to go. So I can see us easily knocking Fulham to the side. Nice 2-0 victory. Then we move on to play on Friday, don't we? It's stupid bloody scheduling. Thanks, Guy.
John, what do you think, mate? What's your prediction?
Well, I think it might be. I mean, of course, I want them to win. I think they're going to win. I just don't know if it's going to be an easy victory, just because I'm hoping that teams aren't figuring out that if they run a low block and just counter, that we have difficulties melting them apart, especially if Madison has to not be a part of it for whatever reason. So I don't know, maybe 2-1.
2-1. Okay, as I've jotted that down, I don't think that we're going to have 9 changes happen in this game. And technically, we didn't lose the League Cup game against them, right? So, Perchy, what do you think, mate?
Yeah, I think we're going to win 2-0 comfortably. I think it'll be quite a comfortable game. I think you got to bear in mind, Fulham can't score for love nor money right now. So from that thesis, I think we'll win that. I think we've got goals in us. I think I'm worried. Obviously, we've got no Basuma, potentially no Sarr. So then you're now looking going Højbjerg and skipping midfield. That worries me. But regardless, I think you're okay. You've got Fulham. No disrespect to them again. They don't score many goals. So
yeah, whenever anyone says no, I don't mean any disrespect. The next 15 to 20 words that come out of that person's mouth are full disrespect. It's one of the greatest caveats.
I'm being honest.
I'm glad you are, and you shouldn't care if you're disrespectful to them or not. You know, they're a tiny little club who have ridiculously high ticket prices. They can burn and get in the ground. I'm saying 3-0. Fuck them. Okay, we need to stay top of the league. That's all that matters.
But we just need to win the game. I'll be honest. I don't think the top of the league thing's relevant at the moment.
Goal difference matters.
Are we top of the league? It depends which league we look at. Is it the XG league? Is it the if this happened league?
Well, we're not top of the Arsenal league, clearly, right? We're joint top.
Being top of the league is irrelevant in October at the moment. That I always stand by that.
Don't tell Arsenal fans that.
Yeah, but irrelevant. I mean, them lot are equally as embarrassing because them lot are going on about there's a joint top. I mean, it doesn't work like that. Like football just doesn't work like that. And same when people are sitting there like with us being top. Listen, being top in October is great. I'd rather be top at the end of May when we've won the league. That for me is the theory in it. I mean, I've seen us being top of the league many a time and get nowhere near it. But listen, for me, go and beat Fulham. I think we do. I think we beat Fulham comfortably. Comfortable result there. Then you've got Palace on Friday night. So then you've got to look at it and go and get. We're playing back to back. In theory, we're playing back to back before anyone else plays. So we could be, in context, 3 points at top of the table before everyone else plays the following weekend. So that's the context of it all, right? So, yeah, just got to keep winning games. Listen, by hook or by crook, if you keep winning games of football, you're all right. But listen, we have to win. Must win game.
Revolutionary.
Yeah.
It's also the big love match this weekend, guys. There's a whole lot of love happening at the Emirates or Stamford Bridge.
Yeah.
They're reunited and it feels so good.
I have a feeling Chelsea win that. Honestly, I have a feeling Chelsea get a result against them.
Love wins, mate. Just love. They just have each other's hands in each other's shorts.
I think people are very quickly underestimating Chelsea. They haven't started well. Good. I think they haven't started well, but I think we need to be. They're going to start clicking into gear, and we need to think about it when we've got them soon, a few weeks time. So yeah.
Arsenal will look after them this weekend.
I think Arsenal.
They'll love them.
I fancy Chelsea for that one. I think Chelsea get a result.
Arsenal fancy Chelsea.
We.
Yeah.
So Chelsea. It just gets better and better, right? Is that what you're going to say?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think anyone's listening. So we've got, I mean, even my wife left the room. So, I mean, that's all you need to know. So Chelsea versus Arsenal. Who are City playing? City are playing Brighton. That is Rodri back for that game? I think he is, right?
Yeah, Rodri should be
Typical,
back.
innit?
So City could be top. Then when we beat Fulham 3-0, we'll go back top. Depends how many Brighton concede. And then we play Palace on the Friday. So we go back top after we smash that South London scum. But at least they know what they are, do you know what I mean? And then we've got... So Arsenal have got Sheffield United. I really hope Sheffield United don't just crumble. I really hope they do what they did to us, because then Arsenal don't have the magnets to get through it. Do you know what I mean? I've just said magnets instead of nuggets. You get what I'm coming from. I'm tired. And City... Oh, it's the Manchester Derby on the 29th.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I'm not going to go
it's
through all
not.
the
City
fixtures.
will just absolutely rip them apart, but that'll be funny. But no, we'll be fine again. As Perchy said, we'll be fine against Fulham. I can't see us, famous last words, can't see us slipping up against them. But yeah, it'll be fine. Everyone will be fine.
Right,
Just watch Sky Sports this Saturday, 5:30. Whole lot of men, whole lot of love.
Cool. How's your hiatus from Twitter been, by the way, Ross?
I did put a tweet out last night for the Belgium-Sweden incident. My hiatus is just a mental health thing. It happens every year for World Mental Health Day, and I normally come off for a week. If I jump back on, I might like the odd thing here and there. I've also got my private account, which not many people follow, which is nice. So I can
It's
just
so
yap
private,
on.
I don't even know it. I mean...
You follow it, I think.
Do I?
No, the podcast does anyway. But yeah, it's just been nice to get away from it all for a week. Just recharge the old brain, just get away from people arguing about, Warrior trophies and bollocks. So yeah, it's been nice.
Cool. So John, how have you found your debut?
I had a good time. I mean, I think it's up to you guys to tell me how I've done, right?
I think you're great. We need more like lemon party kind of jibes from you. But other than that, or squeaky bum, whatever that was. I mean, that's what it sounded like. So that's what we need.
That's a lemon.
Is your kebab come yet?
No, it's half an hour away.
Really? Was it coming?
I was
from
ordering while
Cyprus?
Perch. I wait for Perchy to go on a rant, and then I order. I know I've got time then.
I might not do a rant next time, just so you have to
can't
sit
help
and
yourself.
Ah,
Nah,
Perchy,
I love it.
if you go through a full podcast without a rant, I will doff my cap, sir.
Okay.
It doesn't take. The fuse isn't very long though. It doesn't
Listen,
take
I
much.
think it's just the way I am, really. Like, I'm very opinionated, so I just say things, and I hope it makes a good
fuck's
listen.
sake.
Well, we love you for
Trippier's
it.
playing left back.
Yeah, he always plays left back, but Gareth Southgate's an idiot.
Gareth Southgate makes it so boring. God.
I lived in Southgate for a bit, and that's all I have to say about him.
Yeah. I mean, the fact he's picked Harry Maguire just says it all for me.
He picked him? He hasn't.
Yeah,
Oh,
he's
my
picked him. I
goodness
mean,
me.
England.
And Phillips.
So I'll tell you what's happened. Right, I can tell you now. I don't have any ITK, but it's clearly obvious to me what's happened. They have called Gareth Southgate. Both of them together were out, probably dossing off training, and they caught Gareth Southgate strapped down to a bed, being whipped. They took out their phones. They video recorded it, and they are threatening to release this on Reddit. And that's why he's picking them. Because there is no godly reason why he would pick those two players. I'm pretty sure that there are players who actually play in the Premier League who are English who have better form than these two. So
Yeah,
I don't know what is going on there. And for things like that, he's sort of trying to make his job untenable. I don't know what he's doing.
I'll be honest, when he comes out and says things like, about the abuse he gets, I mean, you're part of the problem. You put him in the spotlight for him to make a mistake, for them people to go, what the hell is going on? I don't even blame people like Maguire anymore. I don't blame him. He gets picked for different reasons than you should be. Players like Fikayo Tomori doesn't even get a look in.
Can I just say something? Listen, Ross, he's gone on. He's started a rant again. You can go and order dessert, mate.
See, it doesn't take much.
Yeah, you bring
Doesn't
Southgate
take
in
much.
John, is there this much drama in the US national side?
No, not at all. They barely get any press.
That's a lie.
Really?
They're your current coach
Yeah, I can't
had
remember his
a
name.
proper run-in. Is it Greg Boothold or something like that, isn't it?
Yeah, there we
he
go.
he had a
Bertholder,
run-in
Bertholder.
with the who's your good player at Dortmund? Forgotten his name now. Rainers, that's it. The Rainers. So his dad, who's the really good guy
Is
at
his
Dortmund?
name really Rainers? Tell me that his first name begins with T.
T Rainers. No, it's who's the really good guy at Dortmund that's American midfielder. Anyone? Answer for 10 points.
Perchy.
You guys, come on.
I don't know. It's ask Kane. He's there. I don't watch it. Wouldn't for me. Let's Google it.
I'm trying to.
US national player Dortmund. Giovanni Reina. He doesn't sound American.
Giovanni. Yeah, so Giovanni Reyna's dad, Claudio Reyna, who used to play for Man City Rangers back in there. He used to be best friends with the current US national team manager. But then during the World Cup, he dropped his son, Giovanni, because of some sort of attitude or issue. And then there was a big, massive falling out between them. And then the national manager, Greg, his contract expired and no one wanted him. But then he got brought back in.
Yep.
Drama everywhere. Drama.
It's drama if people watch it. I think you and John are the only people who have. It looks like you actually understand more about it than John does. So
He
I think
for sure does. Yeah,
I think
I don't watch it at all.
No, I don't blame you. I think we'll end the show there. It's been a lot of fun, guys. Love you loads. And I think this is when we start saying goodbye. Perchy, say goodbye, mate.
Say goodbye, Perchy. Yeah, goodbye, guys. Thank you very much. I've really enjoyed this one today.
Oh, you haven't plugged your what's it called, half and half, or
No, I haven't done any more streams with other club. I've been on a bit of a hiatus. I've been doing a few
you growing up.
streams
Is that
and
what's happening? You've decided
growing
that
up.
that's
No,
the.
listen, there'll be stuff coming soon. Just keep your eyes peeled. I'm not going to say any more than that.
If I peel my eyes to watch you and an Arsenal fan together in a room,
No,
they'll singe. I'm not going to.
Nothing to do with the rival fans. I'll just say that. There's
What you going?
stuff coming soon.
You going on OnlyFans or what? What is it? You finally sorted that out?
No, I know Ross has though. By the way, so if you want to go and sign up to Ross's, he sent it to me, gave me free access to it.
It's all lemons.
It's just him drizzled in lemon. It's amazing.
There was
Literally.
I know, and it's so good that even there's a parody account on Fansly as well. So there you go. What are we going to call this show, by the way? This one? Should we just
We
call
needed
it
something American.
Should we just call it John?
Just call it John. Amazing.
A+ for originality, that's for sure.
That's great, right?
I'm trying to think of an 8 Mile pun because isn't Eminem from Detroit?
He is.
It's Eminem's birthday today, I believe.
Oh, there you go.
We've just
I
gone
actually
full
think
circle.
it actually is Eminem's
Wow.
birthday.
Do you know what? I might watch 8 Mile tonight. That's good, that movie.
It's a good. I might download it. I might pirate it. It was in Cyprus. You can pirate whatever you want. It's great. So yeah, I might do that as well. Go into Pirate Bay and download it. And we've been going too long, guys. 68 minutes. Yalla, as they say in Lebanon. See you next week.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.